Hello, and welcome to another edition of Fix It Yourself and Save Money. The problem I have this time is this 1981 Whirlwind lawnmower. Besides the fact that it's all worn out, it burns a little bit of oil, it's got a little bit of an engine knock due to the crankshaft bearings wearing slightly and pistons striking the cylinder walls. The thing's a good performer, so I hate to see it go. Well, what happened was there's the starter motor, seeing that this is electric start only, one of the bolts that held the starter motor on broke, and when examining it closer, where the starter motor actually bolts onto the frame of the engine, that is cracked, and it was just barely hanging on and ready to break off. So unfortunately, I can't really do anything with it without throwing it out. And as a result, it stripped the gear out. So we're going to make an electric starter for this thing that would be would require you not to have to use any of the existing parts. So pretty much this key will do nothing but shut the mower off and on. Their start function will not work. We could even take the battery off. Well, if you lift this door open here, you can gain access to the flywheel. And I'll show you a little bit closer view of that. So you can gain access to the flywheel here. And one of the great advantages to that is I'd like to try to adapt it to run off of an electric drill. You simply open it up, run the electric drill. As soon as the engine fires, you pull it off quick. Done. But before we do that, we're going to have to chip off some of that JB weld to find the center. Here I have a center punch that I made out of an old screwdriver that broke. And I just stuck it in the drill and ground it with a grinding wheel as it was spinning, so that made a nice point. So just going to chip some of that off carefully without actually breaking JB. There we go. You want to try to get this as close to center as possible. Then you want to check the chart for the appropriate size tap drill, which in this case I have already done and selected. So right in here, we'll zoom in a little closer. It's pre-drilled. There's like a hole that's partially in there. We're going to use that as a guide to get this on center. And we're just going to drill this as straight as we can. While being careful not to go too deep. Straight as you can and try to hold the drill steady. And with an air compressor, carefully blow the chips out of the way. And you're ready to tap the hole. So I'm just going to put this into the tap. I'm going to put some cutting oil on here. Uh-oh. I have to get a better tap handle. And very carefully, and try to do it as straight as possible, tap the hole. A little tricky to get it started. Should get it going though. Occasionally backing up a little bit to clear the chips. I'm going to hold the blade. Don't force the tap, whatever you do. If it breaks, you're done. Can forget ever getting that out. If it starts to bind, take it out and put it back in. Then very carefully wipe all the excess oil off of the flywheel. And then very carefully, this stuff will sting and it could cut you. Stick the nozzle in the hole partially and blow as much of the oil and chips out as possible. You might want to wear safety goggles while doing this. At this point, if desirable, you could put some Loctite on, and you can thread the bolt in. Now, if when you're tapping the hole, you feel the tap bind and you know that you're not all the way down to the bottom, what you're going to want to do is take the tap out, blow the tap off with your air, blow the hole out, put new oil in the hole, and continue tapping. What will happen, and it happened this, is the chips will sink to the bottom of the hole and cause your tap to bind. If you force it, you will break it. If you break it, you're done. So every once in a while, when you start to feel it get a little tighter, bind up, you're better off and you're a lot safer to take it out and blow the chips out of there and start again. Check, double check, and triple check. Never force. So that's surprisingly a very good hole, and I may put Loctite in here because it is a little loose. And we're going to start this thing now. Before we start this, I want to show you the finished product. Notice how the bolt is sticking up some to allow you to fit the socket over it so you don't strip the bolt. And I think I will glue this in with some JB Weld so it's permanent. The bolt I have selected is quarter 20 with a 7/16 head. Now, to start this thing, I'm going to leave this off to show you. Pick up this stuff. I'm going to turn the key to on, reconnect the spark plug. I'm going to take my variable speed drill. I'm just going to verify here for a second which way the blade wants to turn. Wants to turn. Okay, make sure the drill's turning in the appropriate direction. I'm going to stand clear. And it'll start up every time. I'm going to glue this in because it does back out slightly when it fires. And we have saved money once again. I guess I'll have to take that old starter out and throw it in the garbage.